We love being able to go to the different high school, colleges, middle schools to live broadcast sporting events around the area. Georgia Alabama Sports Live appreciates all the fan support, but without a presenting sponsor like Glenn Smith Chevrolet and GMC and Opelika, none of this would be possible. So we want to say thank you so much. Go to glennsmith.com. That is right, glennsmith.com. See all the inventory and see why people always say, get ready to smile. Thanks, everyone, and thank you to Glenn Smith Chevrolet and GMC for being our presenting sponsor.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome to another edition of the Georgia Alabama Sports Live Show. I am Richard Holdridge. This is the Shaw Coach Show. You caught sitting down with an athletics director, state of the programs. Last night, Thrift Behringer did an amazing job with the interview with athletics director of the Shaw High School Raiders, Coach Blair Harrison. I got several coaches on today's show, and we're going to have a lot of fun. This is the Shaw Coaches Show, and I can't think of anybody better to have on. And let's start off with the Shaw football coach, Coach Johnnie Garner. I'm going to go ahead and bring him on. By the way, this is brought to you by Glenn Smith Chevrolet GMC. Get ready to smile. All right, Coach Garner, going to bring him on the show. Coach, happy 4th. I know this is dead week for you. I know you're enjoying a little vacation, but thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule and being here on the Georgia Alabama Sports Live Show.
Hey, no problem. I appreciate you all having me.
All right, this is your second year as the head football coach at Shaw, but take us into your football background, where you got your start playing for football, and what drove you to be a head coach or to actually have the coaching career that you've had up to this point.
Right. Easy. My origin of football starts at Edgewood. Edgewood, we call it university, the U. So back then it was CYF football. Played for the Edgewood Red that was here locally in Columbus, Georgia. Won a lot of games. We kind of had some culture there. Back in those days, it was kind of the expectation to win championships. And it started there. The inspiration came from my brother, actually, my older brother. He actually played for Shaw and was on the state championship team there in 2000. So seeing him do great things inspired me to start playing ball. And, of course, that led me to middle school, playing Fort Middle School, and then high school, graduating from Northside High School here in Columbus, and finishing up my career at Alabama State University in Montgomery, Alabama. And for me, it was always a goal of mine to be a coach. I knew I wanted to be a coach in high school. So I began studying and kind of building my own philosophy from high school, taking bits and pieces from my personal career as well as, from others and what you view on TV and all those things. So it's been a long time coming, but it's also been a whole lot of fun things that's been involved. Definitely what I want to do. I feel like I'm moving in my purpose.
And you've had 2 stints as an assistant coach at Northside and at Carver. But what made you choose to want to come to Shaw and to build that reputation that Shaw had in the early 2000s, known as Shaw U, winning a state championship under the legendary coach Charles Flowers? I know you know a lot about Coach Flowers. You know about just the dominance that the Shaw Raiders had in the early 2000s. But did that drive you to want to be the head coach at Shaw? And what eventually led to that situation, that decision?
Definitely. It was tradition at Shaw is like no other, especially for a guy around my age, anybody around my age growing up in this area. For us as children, Shaw was the dominant program. And it didn't just stop on the football field. It was like literally every sport, football, it was track, it was softball, it was baseball. It seemed like everything was a machine in regard to the black and silver. And there's a rich tradition, alumni base here in Columbus, and they're scattered all over the world. They've done a lot of great things. And yes, it was intriguing to have the opportunity to even come back and try to restore and attempt to build the legacy and tradition that stands in the black and silver. So when opportunity came, of course, it was tough to leave the Carver family. I spent 7 years there. Had a lot of great memories, built a lot of great relationships with a lot of people. But it was just time, I think, and I'm appreciative for everybody at Carver, and especially Mr. Lindsay, for the opportunity there. But also, I'm excited. I'm definitely appreciative to Dr. Hendrick as well and the administration here at Shaw High School, because we're into building something and we're on something big, I believe.
Coach, you were one of Athletic Director Blair Harrison's first hires at Shaw. We talked with him last night, Thrift Behringer, on sitting down with an athletics director, state of the program. Such a great interview. Go check that interview if you're out there just to take a look at it. It was absolutely outstanding. We're going to have some great coaches on later, but Coach, I do want to talk about that first press conference that we were introduced to Coach Garner. I know that, I mean, you're a young guy, but you're energetic. The players play hard for you. We witnessed you in your first year one. Not the result that you really wanted, 4-7, made the playoffs, but it was really all about developing your players. And what did you take away from that first year and going into year two? What are your expectations to continue to build this program here at Shaw?
Right. Yeah, Coach Harrison's a great guy. I already know the interview there was incredible. He's a stud. But in regards to the question, last year, I think the biggest thing that we learned as a staff was kind of getting to know each other, getting to know our scheme, getting to know our kids in the building as well as on the football field, building that continuity that you need in order to be successful, making sure expectations were clear on and off the field, and developing culture. Culture drives everything in regards to where you're going or what direction you're going. So I think we did a great job nailing in our culture and defining our expectations, finding our identity. And now it's time to build, like you said, build on what we had last year and what we started last year. Every team, every year, there's a 1 year shelf life for every team. So it's a completely different team from last year. Some of the same individuals, but hey, those individuals have changed physically as well as mentally. So it's never the same collection of guys every year. So it's a brand new team this year. We look forward to this brand new team competing this fall. And what we expect is just guys to compete hard, be disciplined, understand our scheme, and go out and execute. We want to put some things together and win some games.
And Georgia Alabama Sports Live was there for several of the games, including the game up at Harris County. I want to talk about this game because this was a Harris County team that won 10 games that went all the way to the quarterfinals. You were tied with them at 7-7. It was very competitive. And then your quarterback, Nicholas Bates, went out with the injury. Just talk about how you had to make the adjustments and really Nicholas Bates, I mean, he had the injury problem and what changed as far as the way that you scheme up an offense when Nicholas Bates went down.
Right. That was a huge blow to us, but hey, that's part of football. Injuries are a part of the game. So being prepared and being able to have an alternate plan is important. That game was a good game as well. And what I took away from the game was our ability to come out and fight. Like you said, at halftime, I believe we were tied or maybe one or 2 points down with that team right before Nick got hurt. And what I saw from the team was fight. I saw some tenacity. I saw some guys that didn't matter where we were, didn't matter the environment, because that's a hostile environment. If anybody's ever been to Harris County, it's an environment and the thing is fully loaded. But our guys didn't back down. They played their butts off. And most definitely things changed based on personnel, what you can do with who's at the helm in regards to playing the quarterback position. And we've got to just make sure we do a great job this year of whoever we have back there behind center, that we do things that are strengths that work towards their strengths.
And Coach, you have lost several players that went on to graduation. I do want to talk about, you had a dynamic running back who actually filled in for Bates, Timothy Hill. He was just an electric playmaker. Magic Hickson, I mean, he was just electrifying, but also on the defense, Sidney Atkins, the leading tackler. Just talk about just the continual improvement of the team, getting into region play, beating a rival in Hardaway, and making the playoffs with the team that you had last year.
Yeah, that was an awesome group. That senior class is near and dear to my heart just because that was my first senior class here. at Shaw High School. Those guys that you mentioned, they attacked the process like we always talk about. Those guys came in and things were different. Going into your senior year when you've been used to something for 3 years and you got a brand new coach, a brand new staff, a brand new way of doing things. Sometimes it's really easy to fight against it. Those guys did a great job of accepting the change and accepting the new challenges that they were faced with. And they did a great job. They were able to make some plays for us and for themselves. I'm definitely proud of the young men that they are. If you know them off the field, those are some great guys, great kids. Like I said, Trey Atkins, Nick Bates, Tim Hill, Jakevius Mason, Magic Hitson. Man, we're going to miss those guys. But what they did a great job of was ensuring that the culture was driven into the young guys. So the way that they attacked the new process, they made sure they looked at the young guys, their little brothers. And so they're going to make sure, of course, now they did then, they're going to make sure even now that these guys keep rolling and we're playing for them. Those were our foundational guys. They set the foundation for what's to come.
Coach, talk about the off-season workouts. We are about a month and a half away from the opener against Northside on August the 16th. I know that once school starts and people are coming back to campus, I mean, they're able to get into practices. I know this is dead week right now, and that's why we appreciate you coming on the show during dead week. When the players come back, what are some things that they're going to be starting to do? I mean, did you have a spring game? Were you part of the 7-on-7? And just talk a little bit briefly about that leading up to just a couple of months away from the start of the season.
Right. We definitely did spring. We didn't play against an opponent. We did an intramural scrimmage with each other, but we did go out and do the practice days. And then we kind of dressed up a scripted scrimmage towards the end with the offense versus defense. And this summer we've been the guys have been lifting. They've been conditioning, making sure that physically they're prepared as well as mentally, putting some things in front of them that we know is kind of tough, especially in this weather. This hot Georgia weather this summer can be taxing. So we participated in a few 7-on-7 tournaments. We did the Muskogee County School District 7-on-7. Went to Troy, took the guys to Troy this year, as well as Kennesaw State. So they got a chance to get on some college campuses and compete against some people regionally, not just in Columbus or Georgia, even Alabama, Florida, Georgia, the whole deal, Tennessee. You saw some competition from everywhere. So been prepping those guys and getting ready for the season. I know this one day a week that they have off, they better enjoy it, and we're all gas, no brakes when we come back.
Coach, talk a little bit about your coaching staff,
Yes.
the coaches that work underneath you, and
Right.
what are some of their abilities that help your job and makes your job a lot easier?
Man, we have these guys work with me. These guys work with me, not below or anything. The culture is over.
Oh, of course.
So we're all just at the same spot. But most definitely, I'm excited. I got 2 co-coordinators on offense, and Javion Flewellen, which is a Shaw grad. He's a Shaw alum. Went to Morehouse, as well as Joey Peacock, which is the other co-offensive coordinator. He's been coaching. He coached at Carver as offensive coordinator. He was coaching at Northside as an offensive coordinator for years as well. He decided to make the move with me here. And defensively, we have another Shaw alum, our defensive coordinator, Coach Juan Pickett. He's our defensive coordinator, and he is what we call our Hulk. When you see him, you'll know why. He's a massive guy. Coaches wrestling as well, head wrestling coach as well. And we got a star-studded group in regards to next level guys. Like I said, Coach Peacock played at Huntington College. Coach Pickett played at West Georgia, University of West Georgia. We got an even guy that was on our state championship team at Shaw, coaching linebackers, Coach Torrey Jackson. He'll be with us as well. Coach Guess, our defensive backs coach. Coach Frichter, offensive line, played at Huntington College. Coach Rambo, of course, he went to Lane College, our running backs coach, and played professionally overseas. And we're star-studded. Coach Deloney, outside linebackers coaches. I mean, we can go on for days. We got 11 total guys on our staff. And the biggest thing for me is hiring people that are great people, great people first, and have an ear for our student athletes, and not to coddle them, but to demand the best out of them. But at the same time, we want to love on them. So we're going to love them hard, and we're going to coach them hard as well. And I think all of these guys exhibit that. So we're excited about our staff. They're excited to be around our kids. Everyone, like I said, has been around our program. It says they feel a great aura with everyone. And our kids, like I said, they're performing. They're performing. They're coming to work every day. That's the plan. Coming to work every day, making it an enjoyable experience, but also something that's going to push you. and prepare you for life post-graduation.
Coach, I do want to talk about the schedule coming up this season. The new reclassification has put you back in the same region, down in 2A, with all the public schools in Muskogee County, minus Northside. They are in 4A. That's who you open the season with. This is a rival. It's the Battle of North Columbus. It's on August the 16th at Kinnett Stadium. Then in week 2, a very special game against a 7A school in Alabama, Smith Station. And that game is going to be broadcasted on WTVM. It's their state line showdown. I mean, it really will give you a feel to play for against a 7A school in Smith Station. We've saw them several times on Georgia Alabama Sports Live, and definitely going to be at some of these games, Coach, for Georgia Alabama Sports Live. I mean, but what does it mean to get back to playing all the schools in Columbus? It helps with the travel, because I know the past 2 years Shaw was in a region with Bainbridge, Cairo, and so you had to make in Westover. I mean, you had to make that trip down to Albany and Bainbridge, and what does it mean to get to play all these schools in Columbus and Sumter County for region play? It just means less travel. What does that mean just basically for not just the football team, for all the athletic programs for Shaw?
Right. I think it helps everyone. I think it helps everyone, especially the district, in regards to traveling and being able to make sure the transportation with the buses, and kids won't have to be missing as many classes. When you got to take those trips to Cairo, Bainbridge, and Albany, you got to leave school early in order to be there on time, so the guys can stay in class and get everything they need. I won't have to worry about making up work, as well as I think it will build a sense of pride and tradition to the city. I think it'll build more pride with each school, saying so that you're playing every school in the city, so everybody can come out as a community and support these kids, support everyone that's out here putting in the work to put a great product on the field. So I'm excited. I'm excited about being able to play everyone in the city, and Northside is game 1, so that's where our focus is. But I expect a great turnout. Looking forward to Raider Nation coming out and supporting us game 1 and kicking off the 2024 season.
Coach, one last thing before I get you out of here. Talking about the season, and the fans are excited, packing Kinnett Stadium, especially with these rivalries that are going to be revisited. You get to have that rivalry with Carver. You get to have that rivalry with Columbus and Jordan and Kendrick. I think that's going to be huge for the community, but also you'll be there. High school media days for Muskogee County is going to be August the 2nd. We're excited to be there as well. What is your message to the Shaw community, how they could support the football team, and what do they need to do to get out there on a Thursday night or a Friday night at Kinnett Stadium to support the Shaw football team?
Right. Just know that these guys have been working extremely hard from all the way to winter, from January, preparing for this season, trying to restore the black and silver. We've got a lot of great things going on campus. I invite all of the alums to come see our campus. Brand new floor in the gym, brand new bleachers in the gym. It looks like a totally new place. We got, like I said, the weight room isn't too old itself, as well as our athletic director's done a great job with our facilities. In regards to our entryway, once we enter the gym, we've got a whole mural for all the retired jerseys as well. So if you haven't seen it, come check us out. You can support us in any way possible, like pregame meals. You can come up, and if you want to sponsor one or bring a pregame meal, or if you want to donate money, we have a SNAP fundraiser that's released now. You can locate it on our Facebook page as well, on the Shaw High Facebook page. So in a multitude of ways, with me and football, especially the football alums, it's an open door policy. So if you just see us out there on the field, you hear some whistles blowing, you're invited out. If you're a Shaw alum football guy, this thing is wide open. We want you all to see the monuments that you all have built, the legacy that you all have created. And we definitely want to pay homage to you and respect it, and let you know that once a Raider, you're always a Raider. And at the end of the day, we want you to get on campus and be a part of our success story.
Well, Coach, we appreciate you here on Georgia Alabama Sports Live. It's the Shaw Raiders Coaches Show. It's Coach Johnnie Garner entering his 2nd year as the Shaw head football coach. And I know we expect great things for the Shaw football program. And I know you're trying to get it back to Shaw U back in the early 2000s. And we are just excited about this upcoming football season.
Well, thank you. I appreciate you all having me.
All right. We're going to go ahead and take a break. And when we come back, we're going to have the assistant basketball coach for the Shaw boys basketball team. It's Coach Chris Horton. We call him old school. He is the right-hand man to Coach Carlton Dickey. We'll be right back here on the Georgia Alabama Sports Live Show. This is the Shaw Raiders Coaches Show. We'll be right back.
You're watching right now the Georgia Alabama Sports Live Show that is presented by Glenn Smith Chevrolet and GMC. Get ready to smile. We'll be right back after this.
Make your way to Glenn Smith Chevrolet. Choose America's #1 compact SUV, the Chevy Equinox. Discounted up to $6,500 off. Chevy's full-size pickup truck, the powerful Chevy Silverado, is up to $12,000 off. And big Chevy Silverado 2500 HDs are discounted up to $6,000 off. Plus, enjoy no payments until fall. Make your way to Glenn Smith Chevrolet in Opelika.
Get ready to smile.
Make your way to Glenn Smith Chevrolet. Choose America's #1 compact SUV, the Chevy Equinox. Discounted up to $6,500 off. Chevy's full-size pickup truck, the powerful Chevy Silverado, is up to $12,000 off. And big Chevy Silverado 2500 HDs are discounted up to $6,000 off. Plus, enjoy no payments until fall. Make your way to Glenn Smith Chevrolet in Opelika.
Get ready to smile.
We are back and better than ever here on the Georgia Alabama Sports Live Show. It is the Shaw Coaches Show. As you just saw yesterday, sitting down with the athletics directors, state of the programs, the AD of Shaw High School, Coach Blair Harrison was on. Thrift Behringer did an outstanding job with that. And we just came back from break. And we had Coach Johnnie Garner entering his second season as the Shaw Raiders head football coach. And now we've got a coach that I've gotten to know a couple of years now. He has been the top assistant of legendary coach Carlton Dickey for the Shaw Raiders basketball team, and also a good friend of mine and Thrift's. I'm going to bring on Coach Chris Horton, who is the assistant coach of the Shaw Raiders. And Coach, thank you for joining the Shaw Coaches Show. Before we get into your background, how have you been?
I'm great. Thank you for having me, first of all. I appreciate you. Shout out to Blair Harrison as well, one of the top ADs in the tri-state area. But also, I've been great. Enjoying my summer.
Absolutely. I know it's dead week for all the high schools in Muskogee County. I know you're enjoying your time off. Coach, before we get into your coaching background, let's start with your playing career. You played at Shaw, and you also played at Columbus State. Going from a player to now being one of the top assistants in the Chattahoochee Valley, what got you into coaching?
Kind of like I would say it just happened. My aspiration when I left college was to play basketball, and everybody was to go overseas, be a pro. All my friends and Zay Horton, also I think going into his 4th, 5th year as a pro, seeing them go and do their dreams. I also wanted to do mine. I had a call to go to Costa Rica, and COVID called my league down. So I ended up kind of finding Brookstone Middle School was the first school I went to start coaching. I've been coaching with my dad at Midland, the other Coach Horton Sr. for a little bit. So I always had it in my pocket, and it was just good to finally find it at Brookstone. And I've ended up at Shaw, very excited.
Absolutely. And you've done a great job just being the lead assistant for Coach Carlton Dickey. I know Thrift's got a nickname that we call you Old School. Just talk about how you got that nickname and how you've become one of the top assistants here in the Chattahoochee Valley.
I enjoyed. I guess Old School came from my dad growing up as I was a kid. We was in kindergarten and we were doing smells, and everybody went up front. And I told them I like to smell them sausages and old hot sauce and everything like that back in the day. So my dad would always say I was an old school baby. So he wouldn't like the OLD, so we stuck with OLE. So it was old school. And then somehow I got to the kids, found me at when I started coaching at Shaw. They found me, and I ended up turning into Coach O instead of Coach Horton. So it's been a cool thing to have my name go with me everywhere I've been.
Coach, talk a little bit about your coaching background. You left Columbus State as a player. When did you start getting into coaching?
Like I said, I've been doing it for a little bit. Like I said, I've been helping my dad since I was a ninth grader at Shaw High School. My senior year I broke my kneecap, so I didn't get to play as much. And I would say I was more so over there in Midland, helping the kids out in Midland more than I was at Shaw, going to practice because at the time I was hurt. So it always been in my blood, and like I said, seeing your dad, one of your role models, one of your heroes do it, always stuck with me. And I guess just being around it so much, I just love the sport of basketball. So it's in me.
Well, Coach, you have a tight-knit group I've gotten to know your basketball program the last couple of years. I do appreciate you giving me an opportunity and Coach Blair Harrison for allowing me just to PA announce several basketball games in the 2022 season. It was a lot of fun. Coach, you have Coach Marquand, who's now the girls' head basketball coach. He was an assistant under Coach Dickey. What's it like, coaching under Coach Dickey, and that relationship you built with also you, Coach Marquand, Coach Dickey, and really do you still talk to each other as far as communicating, as far as practices and getting ready for the season? Because you've had a pretty good relationship with Coach Marquand and Coach Dickey these past couple of seasons.
Oh yeah, for sure. Me and Marquand are a tight knit group regardless. Girls, boys, he gonna help me. I'm gonna help him through thick and thin. First of all, Rich, I'd like to bring you back. If you want to come back and PA for us again, I'm gonna throw that. I'll throw that in there unless Mr. Harris threw it in there before me. I wouldn't mind to have you back for a couple games. Also, with Marquand, yeah, we're a tight knit group. We just came back from Hawaii. Had a nice little trip there. We're on a talking basis every day, and I'm excited to see what he does with that girls program as well. With Coach Dickey, he was when I first got there, he's very old school, so he's hard to read at first. But once you kind of get to know him and you see what he really wants to do, and it really just wants to win. So once you see what his philosophy is, it comes down to it, and he's a really help to the kids as well.
Coach, I would take you up on that offer, but more than likely, we're going to be live streaming so many Shaw basketball games on Georgia Alabama Sports Live. We want to give you guys that exposure. I do want to talk a little bit about last season. Went 13-12. You're going to lose several players, like your leading scorer, Dorian Head, Josiah Williams, Trey Atkins. They're all leaving, graduating. What does this incoming team look like for the 2024 season? And what are the expectations for Shaw basketball going into the 2024-2025 school year, especially in a new region going down to 2A?
Well, I think it's going to be a lot more competitive, especially being in 2A with everybody being in the same city other than Americus, I believe. It's going to be very competitive, and I think all the kids knowing each other as well will make it even more of a competitive scene. But the philosophy for Shaw, nothing changed. Defense, 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 run, gun, and shoot. We lost, I think, about 8 or 9 seniors, Carson, Calhoun, Trey, Sidney Atkins. Lost a couple of big houses, big names for us as well. But we also have a couple good names coming in, building a good culture. We're young and ready to go. Alenzo Talley is going to be big for us. Our left-handed point guard. He's been in the gym every day. Very excited to see what this team brings this season.
Coach, last season, it was not the way you wanted it to go. Missed out on the playoffs. They had that play-in game against the crosstown rival Hardaway for a spot to get into the playoffs. So we had that game on Georgia Alabama Sports Live. It was a competitive game. It could have gone either way. So the margin of victory, the margin of error is very slim as far as making into the playoffs, especially in a tough region with Cairo, Bainbridge, and Westover. But now you're in a region where Hardaway is going to be there. Also, Carver, who went to the Final Four in 2A. Spencer, who won a state title a couple of years ago. You know that Coach Allen is going to have a good program. You also have Columbus. They got a new head basketball coach, Terrence Hill. You got Kendrick and Jordan. Jordan's got a new basketball coach. I mean, it is going to be exciting to see all the teams in Columbus, minus Northside, in 2A, and you also have Sumter County in this region as well. What does that mean really for the community that Shaw is not going to travel all the way down to Bainbridge or Cairo, especially like on a school night? I know we talked to Coach Jeff Battles, we talked to Blair Harrison, we talked about just the reclassification is going to cut back on travel costs, and it's really going to be great for the student athletes.
Because we don't have to fight for a charter bus anymore to get out to Bainbridge or Cairo.
True. That's true.
But it's going to be, like I said, I think it's going to be a lot more competitive because everybody's here. We're kind of at a place now where my neighbor could go to Spencer and I go to Shaw. And that could be my rival for 4 years. You know what I mean? So it just gets to, I think it's good. I think it's great. It gets back to like the old times, like back in the day when we was going against each other. And you actually get to see those rivalries. And with Georgia Alabama Sports Live, you get to see that as well. And y'all getting to put that on TV. I didn't think we had that when I was coming up or before me. This media console is going to be big for this 2A region in the tri-state area, I promise.
Coach, talk about the team that's returning for this season. What are some key players that you got? And also, have you been participating in summer leagues? I know that we've had some that have been on Georgia Alabama Sports Live. What are some of the camps that your team has done, and what does the off-season workouts look like? And what are some of the players that are going to be returning for next season?
Well, we're just very big on conditioning, getting them in shape because, like I said, we're not going to be the biggest team, especially until our football players come around after we win our state championship. So it's going to be a little minute for us, for the football team, for us to get our football players in. So right now, just running. We didn't do many tournaments this year. I think we just did the CSU, and we been doing the George Williams tournament here in the city, playing those as well. Just getting to know our players right now. And like I said, just getting in shape is my biggest thing with these kids. As long as we're able to run gun and play defense, I think we'll figure out how to put that ball in the hole as well.
Coach, what's it like to coach under Coach Dickey? What have you learned from him, and what are some philosophies that he has passed on to you when you have your coaching style and you're coaching the team?
He definitely helped me with my approach to like talking to the kids. I guess you could say sometimes, like when I first came, I was a little too nice to him. I gave him too many chances. I guess you can say that as well. And he kind of told me you got to put your foot down, be a little stern when it's time to really lock in and win a game as well. Those key players, I forgot to tell you about the key players. The key players we have for us will be Alonzo Talley, Zachary Denson, and we got a couple good ones. LJ Williams, Christian Gibson is going to be coming back as well. Like I said, we're young and ready to run. I'm gonna keep saying that for us this year.
And by the way, hopefully Eli Deering comes back. I know his dad, Mitch Deering, a great football player at Shaw, and just a great guy. Basically, we have a connection with the church, and I told Mitch that I've been doing games on Georgia Alabama Sports Live because he posted on Facebook that his son actually got into the game as a freshman on the varsity, and so I'm proud of him, and I'm looking forward to calling Shaw basketball games, because. Mitch, I've known him for a while, and just the fact that his son is playing for Shaw, I'm just so proud of him.
Eli has probably one of the best motors and attitudes on the team as well. Just wants to play ball. You can tell he loves the game as well. He's going to have a big part. He got his time really early in as a freshman, threw him in the fire very quick, but he didn't burn. So that's the best part of it. So he's learning on the go. All
right. So do you have a general idea of what the schedule is going to look like? I know that you're going to be playing a lot of Columbus schools in region play. Is there any non-region games that you are scheduling? Do you want to schedule like a North Side or a Harris County, or are you satisfied with sticking with just the Columbus teams? I mean, what's the non-region schedule going to look like for this upcoming season?
I think right now we have Smith Station, Russell County. We played Smith Station twice, Russell County, because we don't have many because, we're playing 8 teams twice in the region. I think it's Smith Station, Russell County, and I think it's 2 more. I can't get it off the top of my head right now. But we're not too far, but we're going out to the county, going to the country.
Well, Coach, I think it is absolutely incredible that with the new reclassification that all the public schools in Columbus minus Northside are all playing each other in all sports. It's really going to help out all the athletics, not just football, basketball, but your volleyball team is not having a late night on a school night, going all the way down to Cairo. So this is really incredible. And Coach, we wish you the best of luck next season. We'll be there for Georgia Alabama Sports Live. We are going to be live streaming many Shaw basketball games, boys and girls. Thank you so much, Coach Horton, for coming on and taking time out of your busy schedule and being a part of the Shaw Coaches Show.
Thank you for having me. Like I said, with the 2A region, you'll have a lot of people being able to get around, along with our Shaw fans being able to get to our away games as well. But yeah, thank you for having me again. I just want to say shout out to Dr. Hendrick and my principals out there, Mr. Huffman, Mr. Smith, and Ms. Tucker. Yeah, I got to get my principals in there. Got to get my admins.
All right. We're going to take a break. This is presented by Glenn Smith Chevrolet GMC. Get ready to smile. Coming up next, we've got the Shaw girls head basketball coach, Charley Marquand. He is coming on the show next, as this is the Shaw Coaches Show, Georgia Alabama Sports Live. We'll be right back.
You're watching right now the Georgia Alabama Sports Live show that is presented by Glenn Smith Chevrolet and GMC. Get ready to smile. We'll be right back after this.
Make your way to Glenn Smith Chevrolet. Choose America's #1 compact SUV, the Chevy Equinox. Discounted up to $6,500 off. Chevy's full-size pickup truck, the powerful Chevy Silverado, is up to $12,000 off. And big Chevy Silverado 2500 HDs are discounted up to $6,000 off. Plus, enjoy no payments until fall. Make your way to Glenn Smith Chevrolet in Opelika.
Get ready to smile.
Make your way to Glenn Smith Chevrolet. Choose America's #1 compact SUV, the Chevy Equinox. Discounted up to $6,500 off. Chevy's full-size pickup truck, the powerful Chevy Silverado, is up to $12,000 off. And big Chevy Silverado 2500 HDs are discounted up to $6,000 off. Plus, enjoy no payments until fall. Make your way to Glenn Smith Chevrolet in Opelika.
Get ready to smile.
We are back. We are smiling. It's the Georgia Alabama Sports Live show. It's the Shaw Coaches Show. If you just missed it, we had the head football coach, Johnnie Garner, on to start the show. We just had the assistant boys basketball coach, Coach Chris Horton. And now we are going to introduce the Shaw girls basketball coach, his first season as head coach. Please welcome to the show, Coach Charley Marquand. Coach, before we get into your coaching background, I just wanted to briefly get an introduction on you as a person, your playing career, where are you from, and what led you to Columbus?
I'm originally from a town called Griffith, Indiana, which is sandwiched between Gary, Indiana, and south side of Chicago. It's kind of northwest Indiana. So, yes, I am a Hoosier.
Well, that is great. You do have a basketball background, but what led you from your playing days to coaching? Because, Coach, being a part of the Shaw program, just live streaming games on Georgia Alabama Sports Live, not just basketball, but baseball, I see you everywhere. I mean, you've got, you're an assistant on the baseball team under Coach Howie Shackelford. You've been an assistant at Shaw for several years now under Coach Dickey. But where did your coaching background start, and how long were you an assistant at Shaw?
It started in the fall of 2017 when I first got on to Shaw High School. I started under Coach Terry White. I worked with him for a couple years as one of his assistants and with the freshman squad, just as a volunteer in that aspect.
All right, and coming from Indiana, I mean, that's quite a move. What led you to Columbus, Georgia?
My son still is real big in baseball, and my wife is from Columbus, and he wanted to excel in baseball, and I did my research, and Columbus is the mecca for baseball. So we brought him down here, and I got transferred in the retail business, and we brought him down here, and then he ended up going to Shaw High School, graduated in 2018, went to Point University, excelled there, and now he's playing independent baseball.
Well, yes, absolutely. Baseball is huge in Columbus. We got Northern Little League. We've got Harris County Little League, the minor league baseball team coming to Columbus. And you're a part of that baseball team. We're actually going to start there because you're under Coach Shackelford's team. I mean, you coach basketball. This is your first year as the Shaw girls coach, but you also coach baseball. Shaw has had some great success making the playoffs for the second straight year they've hosted a home playoff game in the GHSA. They haven't done that in over a decade, and we know the history about Shaw baseball, having great players like Stephen Register and Edwin Jackson. But what was it like under Coach Shackelford's staff on the Shaw baseball team?
Honestly, I'm blessed. I mean, it's Coach Shack is he's unbelievable. He does so much. He's so detail oriented. He is so focused on what's best for the team. I think that he's got the program headed in the right direction, and I'm really excited. Look forward to what he does in the future here at Shaw High School.
All right, Coach, you have been named the head basketball coach for the girls varsity basketball team, taking over for longtime coach Felicia Brown. But you have a very good assistant with you. You have Coach Curtis Crowell, who is a friend of the show. We know Coach Crowell and his energy. And what is it like working with Coach Crowell? As you were an assistant under Coach Dickey, but did you have a relationship with Coach Crowell before you became the head coach?
Absolutely. Here at Shaw, we're kind of a tight-knit family. So when it comes to like coaching aspects or what you should have did or what you did well or what you need to work on, we kind of bounce that stuff off each other all the time. So I was blessed to be able to bounce things off of different coaches and get different ideas, not only just from Crowell, but also from Coach Dickey and then Coach Horton as well. We're very tight and we joke around a lot, but when it's time to roll up our sleeves, we get at it. And right now I'm absolutely blessed to be a first-year head coach and have someone like Coach Crowell right there as we duo this thing together.
Yes, we just had Coach Horton on the Shaw Coaches Show, and he talked about that camaraderie and just that closeness between you and Coach Horton, being as an assistant underneath Coach Dickey alongside Coach Horton, and making that transition from varsity boys basketball to being the first-year head coach for the girls varsity basketball team. What are some of the expectations coming up, and what were some of the off-season workouts that your team did? We saw you in the play date at Central. We live streamed that game on Georgia Alabama Sports Live. Coach, I was very impressed. You got a good team coming back. Brooke Shipp going to be running that point guard, and Quishai Walcott. I'm excited. You are losing Tiara Tucker. I mean, it's hard to replace a Tiara Tucker, somebody that averages almost 23 points a game, all region, all state, one of the best players in the state of Georgia. But you got a good team coming back. What is the outlook for this upcoming season for the Shaw Lady Raiders?
Well, myself and Crowell, we talked to the girls after the season, and they were a little bummed about losing Tiara. And don't get me wrong, she's great. I talked to her, and she's a great player. Great student, great representation of Shaw High School. I believe that our message to the girls was it's going to be hard to replace those points, but I think through work and in the weight room and doing some fundamental things on the basketball court, we can divide those points among the other players and kind of level the playing field for us at Shaw with assist and rebounding and passing. That's most of the things that we worked on in the summer was the weight room, getting our passing down better, breaking the press, focusing on left-handed layups. A lot of fundamentals we drilled in during the summer.
Coach, let's recap the 2023 season. 15-13. You lost to Fayette County in the first round of the playoffs, a team that went to the Final Four. Felt like you were in that game, and I know that the team just continued to develop. I know that it was a tough region, in the same region with Hardaway that went to the championship last season. But now, this upcoming season, it's a new region. The team has gone down to 2A. Still going to be a very tough region because you do have Hardaway and Carver. They have got to be the favorites in this region, but right there alongside Columbus, who has made improvements under Coach Adams, Kendrick with Coach Long in her second year, and you can't forget about Coach Cobb and what she has done at Jordan, making it to the playoffs for the first time in over a decade. What is the region looking like for girls basketball, and can Shaw be one of those teams that gets a playoff spot coming up?
I believe we're going to be in the hunt. We really are. We've got some great competition this year in the region. You know, like you said, we got Carver, we got Hardaway. We can't sleep on Americas. They've always traditionally had a great team.
That's right. The only team that's not from Columbus in the region.
And then, I mean, you gotta look at it's really going to take a total team effort. It's going to take me and Coach Crowell bouncing ideals off each other to look outside the box, to kind of look at film and see where we can gain an edge, where we need to push these girls to where they can be successful on the court and off the court, and kind of create that the cohesiveness that they have together.
Coach, what's it like working for athletic director Coach Blair Harrison? I mean, what are some things that he has taught you and given you advice, and really what are you looking forward to in your first season as the head coach for the Shaw Lady Raiders?
Coach Harrison it's a blessing to have him at our school. He is 100% all in. He's got a lot of things going on in that school. You can come by and see our new gym. We have a brand new floor. We got new backboards. We got new benches. We got a new scorers table. He's totally helped revamp that situation. I mean, he's got a new Hall of Fame outside of our weight room. He is all Shaw 100% with the backing of our administrators. He is all, I mean, when you need something, his door is open. His phone is always on. It doesn't matter. He gives you advice. He tells you how to handle certain situations. He puts you in the right direction. I couldn't ask for a better person to guide our athletic person than Coach Harrison.
Coach, I want to ask you, what does it mean to put on the silver and black, to be a Shaw Raider? You talk about the Raider way, Shaw U, I mean, the battle for North Columbus, those rivalries with Northside, Columbus, Hardaway, but just this is a message to the fans out there to try to get people in the gymnasium to just watch just an incredible product. But really, what does it mean being a Shaw Raider?
This is when I first became a Shaw Raider, our philosophy was, even when they graduate, was once a Raider, always a Raider. And for our school, what that means is we are one union group. We work together. We are in the classroom helping each other. Our teachers are helping our student athletes. We're growing as a school. Our enrollment's up. We are trying to get back to the early 2000s of when the silver and black came out to play. It was total competition, and we are heading in that direction. It might seem like small strides right now, but with Coach Garner coming in and giving his influence, you got Coach Shack on the other end. You got our volleyball that was in the state, went to the Lead 8 a couple years ago. You got our flag football team. You got all kinds of things going on at Shaw that is very, very, very in the upswing. And if you want to be a Shaw Raider and you want to be there when it goes up, this is the school to be at right now in Columbus, Georgia.
Well, Coach, I see you everywhere. Every time I go to a Shaw game, whether it's football, baseball, basketball, you seem to just be involved in just about every sport. My last question to you is, with this upcoming basketball season, by the way, Georgia Alabama Sports Live plans on being there for as many games as we can. We're definitely going to be there for the Muskogee County Christmas tournament. You got a region where you're playing all the schools in Muskogee County, the public schools minus Northside because they're in 4A, but you also take on Sumter County. What does that mean to the players that is going to cut back on travel, that the team doesn't have to get up on a Thursday, miss class, and have to take a bus all the way down to Cairo or Bainbridge? I mean, we can have these rivalries in town. And also my next question to you, Coach, is has the schedule dropped yet? Or are there going to be some familiar teams that we're going to see that are non-region games that we're looking forward to seeing as well?
Well, to answer your questions, with the region the way it is, I mean, you're looking at 14 games that we're going to have to play in our area. So what that means is, like you said, it's going to be less travel. You don't have to sit and think, man, I got to go all the way to Cairo or I got to go all the way to Bainbridge. That takes a wear and tear on teams. And with us being in a tight-knit region, I think that rivalry part of Columbus, it's about to go crazy. It's about to be back the way it used to be. From what I heard, I wasn't around, but from what some of the older coaches are telling me is it's going to be a pride thing. Who's going to win it? Who's going to want it? That's what's going to happen here in Columbus. And I hope everybody gets here for the ride because this is the place to be.
Well, Coach, I'm looking forward to this upcoming season. One final thing, is there any message you want to bring out to that anybody who wants to support Shaw athletics? How can they support Shaw Athletics, and what can they do to be a booster and to come support these incredible teams?
Now we have our own Facebook page like everybody else does, but you're more welcome to you can get a hold of Coach Harrison. My email's out there. I know if Coach Horton's been around a lot of people. Coach Crowell knows everybody. So if you want to support Shaw, please come out and support us. We've got tons of things going on. We just need to develop these young student athletes so when they get out in the real world, they can be successful and they can represent Shaw High School.
Thank you so much, Coach, for taking time out of your busy schedule during dead week. I want to give a shout out to you, Coach Garner, Coach Horton, and yourself. You guys are on vacation this week. You could be doing anything, and you are taking time to come on the Georgia Alabama Sports Live show, and that really means the world to us, Coach.
It comes with the territory. When you work with these kids, that's the number one thing is you want to make sure that these kids leave our school and be successful people in society. That's the biggest thing for us.
All right, thanks, Coach. That is head basketball coach of the Shaw Lady Raiders, Coach Charley Marquand. We've had some great interviews with some great head basketball coaches here at Shaw. We started with Coach Johnnie Garner of the football team. We had Coach Horton, and now we had Coach Charley Marquand. We want to thank our presenting sponsor, Glenn Smith Chevrolet GMC. And coming up next, we've got Hardaway, the state of the program, sitting down with an athletics director. That is going to air on Monday. Hope everybody has a happy 4th of July, and we will see you back next week here on the Georgia Alabama Sports Live Show. Thank you for tuning in.
Thank you for watching the Georgia Alabama Sports Live Show presented by Glenn Smith Chevrolet and GMC. You're ready to smile.